Well, a hugely disappointing night for Ireland. After all our expectations, they've been certainly dashed by that performance and that result. And let's look at the table now. And Russia clearly in control of Group B. And the table now looks like this. They won tonight, as you saw, by a goal to nil, so they're now 16 points. The Republic of Ireland and Slovakia 14 points apiece. But it becomes very, very hard indeed for us now to qualify even for the playoffs. But you'll never know. It depends what happens indeed in Moscow on Tuesday. What do you think?
Well, it's been a shocking night for Irish football, Bill. Not because of the results so much as the performance. The performance was very, very poor. Football is, you have to play football. You've got to get the ball and pass the ball. And you've got to look smart, think smart. We were completely outplayed on the night. They had far more chances and looked a far, far better side than we did. Now, if you go back to the game in Slovakia, we created more chances than them and looked a better side than them. This side that Trapattoni's built is built really to defend. It's built to be negative, really, and not to. It's not capable of creating chances at home, breaking down decent sides at home. We haven't won a match against a decent side since we beat Slovakia in 2007. Now, the argument will be, and should be, is it because of his philosophy and his tactics, or is it because of the talent at his disposal? Now, that's going to be the kernel of the argument. At this point, I would say we need better footballers. We need to try to play football. We need someone like James McCarthy out there getting on the ball, looking to pass the ball, and looking to create something.
Yeah.
So I would be very, very critical of the negative nature of the philosophy.
Yeah, but I mean, we've seen that for the last two championships, in a sense. He plays the same way all the time. He controls the defence. But I don't know. I think
well, let me just finish. Let me finish by saying this. We all find it depressing. People who paid their money to come here tonight find it depressing, Bill. We want Ireland so badly to do well, and I just think there's an element of bankruptcy in this system, and that you need to let better players play.
All right, these are very strong words. Liam, your response to that, a certain bankruptcy in the system?
Well, I wouldn't use the word bankruptcy. I'd say that it was certainly tonight, and there has been games when Ireland have played very well under Trapattoni. Let's make that point. But tonight wasn't one of them. I thought there was it was void of conviction from the players. It was void of confidence from the players. Nobody wanted to accept responsibility, and the only real urgency came into the game in the last few minutes, in the last 10 minutes, when Stephen Hunt came on.
It was a better second half, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a better second half, and we had we had two brilliant chances for goals. Yeah. But the conviction and the confidence wasn't there, Bill, until the last 10 minutes, when all of a sudden the reality of the situation was we were going to make another goalless draw at home unless something was done. And then there was an urgency in our play, and I agree with Ronnie. I thought Trapattoni left it too long to bring Stephen Hunt on. Stephen is an infectious player, and he accepts responsibilities. And, you know, it's no coincidence that we livened up when he came on.
Yeah. John, your view?
Well, I think the team is set up in a way, Bill, that it's actually much better away from home, where the expectancy is on the home team to attack, and the Irish team is built for defending and then hitting them on the counter-attack. As we've seen in some of the away, I think our best performance has been away from home. And I don't think it's any coincidence that that is the manner in which we play. When you play at home, funny enough, Bill, there's an extra responsibility on players to actually create. You know, when you're defending all the time and you win the ball, you don't have to create because you've already won the ball and you're getting the wrong side of the players. But when the emphasis is at home, where you're the home team, you should have more possession of the ball, and then you've got to create. In other words, you've got to be smart, you've got to be good in the middle of the field, and that. We're still playing in a manner in which we're playing away from home. So there is a negative attitude to that. But at the same time, if you look at Trapattoni, we didn't lose the match tonight.
No, and we're not out of it either because we scored in Slovakia.
The way we play, Bill, could go to Russia and win. You know, That's the way we are.
Do you really believe that?
Well, I saw
I
Russia.
do, yeah, I think
That we could go to Russia after that performance and win?
Our performance, if you listen to what I'm saying, Bill, please, I'm trying to explain the differences why we're so negative and poor at home. It's the way the team is set up in a certain way. When they're away from home, the emphasis is not on about creating, it's the emphasis is on stopping team. And when you destroy a team or break up an attack, you're immediately on the attack. You don't have to create. The emphasis on us here, we don't have the players to do it. We could play here that team again tomorrow, and I think you get much of the muchness, because if you got Whelan and Anders and other things that happen in the team, smart free kicks, smart corner kicks, smart throw-ins, we don't do it. So the emphasis is not on being creative. And you get what... Look, that performance tonight, to be fair, if you look at all the home performances we've had, it's been pretty typical.
That's typical, that's the point I was making. And in a sense, that is very depressing, isn't it?
Well, it depresses me at times as well, Bill. But at the same time, they could go away from home and win on Tuesday. I believe that we could win on Tuesday. I believe we'd win tonight. I thought we'd have enough, and we didn't. Well, we might have. We had a couple of chances, but overall we didn't.
Do you know what worries me, though? Trapattoni, and Ronnie quoted him before he came off the air there, that he made the point that if we don't win tonight, it's not the end of the world. And doesn't that actually affect a team? No. In other words, you achieve a draw, and a draw is very okay.
I'll be specific here. Sean St. Ledger played superbly tonight.
In the second half.
He did, yeah. Well, he defended really well. He's a reserve player with Leicester City.
Yeah.
You know, he worked hard, but there were some poor performances, and responsibility is part of it. John O'Shea was very poor tonight, I thought, for a player of his experience. Damien Duff was excellent. We had a chance. Robbie Keane had a golden chance.
Yeah, let's look at that. Let's look at that.
That would have got us out of jail.
We had two chances. Robbie Keane, and at the end.
And this came, well, for once in the match, Andrews and Whelan linked up with each other. There's Andrews and Whelan linking up, and that's the way it should be for 90 minutes at home. That's the one occasion in which they did it. And Damien knocks a beautiful ball. I thought Damien did well tonight, off scraps. And you back Robbie all day long to put that away. But it's the first chance he's had, and it's somewhere in the 85th minute or something. And it's the first chance that hits him on the shoulder. Late, no. It's just a question of timing. You should be creating a lot of chances like that. But that little piece of interplay at the start, this is at the end, and Hunt's on the pitch, and really, St. Ledger was fouled here, in my opinion, and Richard sees it far too late. This is a great chance, but I think St. Ledger might have been fouled. Should have got it, actually, St. Ledger. And Richard sees it too late. The point, though, it goes back to those two lads, Andrews and Whelan. When you're playing at home, your midfield players have to be on the ball, they have to dominate the ball, and they have to dictate the tempo of the game, and whether it goes wide, whether it goes short, whether it goes fast, whether it goes slow. That's these two guys, and even I, was as a midfield player, that was your job. If you came off the pitch at home, and even away from home, and you hadn't been on the ball an awful lot, and involved in passing movements, you might as well not be there. And at the heart of Ireland's problem, at home, creative problem, is the inability of these two lads to assume the responsibility at this level. They're all right, and they're not even good at what they're supposed to be doing, which is stopping the other guys playing, because we got to chase it in midfield tonight, just as we did against Russia. The difference between the Russia game and this game here was that Slovakia didn't score 3 goals.
But I tell you this much, am I right in thinking, Liam, that if we were playing Russia tonight, given the space that we gave Slovakia, which they didn't take, that Russia would have destroyed us again tonight?
Well, I suppose that's a fair point, Bill, but it's a nif, it's hypothetical speaking.
It's hypothetical,
Let's talk about what we've seen.
Yeah. But, OK, is there another point, Liam, sorry for interrupting you, that the 4-4-2 system is redundant?
Well, you know, if you certainly get outnumbered in midfield. Yeah. You certainly get outnumbered in midfield, and I thought Glenn Whelan and Keith Andrews had their problems tonight, because we gave the ball away so much that they had their problems because they were outnumbered in midfield. And these guys were good on the ball. They were good control, they could pass the ball, and that puts teams in problems. So it means sacrificing a winger and maybe bringing in somebody like a James McCarthy who can actually get on the ball and have the confidence. I think Eamon's right, that you need a player who's going to be the playmaker when we're playing at home. He's going to assume responsibility.
Assuming he's permitted to play like that as well, of course.
Well, I'm telling you, Bill, I was there. Nobody told not to play. There's nobody told not to play.
Yeah, but John has a theory about that.
John is perhaps right. You know, that you should be encouraged to play some short free kicks. You should be encouraged to link up Andrews and Whelan like they did for that little 1-2 that started a good move off.
You see, there's a difference, Bill, between, as Liam quite rightly says, there's no way we would not believe Liam that he doesn't say in the dressing room not to do that. But there's a big difference between not saying that and saying, but I want you to get on the ball.
Correct, yeah.
In other words, what I find about us at home, it doesn't manifest itself as much away from home, but a smartness. When the ball goes out of play, first player on the ball, get it thrown. Free kicks, like a lot of the free kicks we got today, you could see it. As soon as we get it, the two midfield players, the lads who should get over close to the ball, get on it and start playing, the first thing to do is run away from the ball.
That's right, yeah.
Because they know that Dunn is going to kick a long one. The emphasis should be now. I'm not saying that Trapattoni doesn't tell them not to get on the ball, but he doesn't tell them.
He doesn't encourage
to
them
get back to that and do it. And I don't want to see it doing it
John,
twice.
excuse me. I actually think Glenn and Keith Andrews are crying out for somebody to accept responsibility. Somebody who's confident on the ball in tight areas. Those two lads are not confident, and that's why they don't want it.
Yeah, okay.
I think the case for McCarthy is pretty compelling, Bill. He's a classy young player. He's a confident young man, and we cannot go on playing that kind of football at home. But just to go back to Russia, to give people hope, I saw Russia play Macedonia today, and they were very, very poor and very, very lucky to win. And it isn't impossible that we can go to Moscow and produce a performance like we produced in Paris.
And that would in Italy.
Or in Italy, and that would be good enough. But Paris in particular, where we had to win the match, I think that would be good enough to beat Russia, because they didn't look up for it today, and they have 11 Arshavins, and football people will know what that means. Now, we'll still always come back to this question of the style of play, and the personnel, and the marginalisation of McCarthy. I think is a big issue in that.
All right, we'll take a break for the moment, and the man of the match, the three men of the match tonight is Sean St. Ledger, and he's with Dave Kelly.
Well, with me is Sean St. Ledger, the winner of the 3 Man of the Match award, and Elaine Carey, the Sales and Marketing Director of 3, is here to present you with your award. Sean, frustrating evening.
Yeah, we had some good chances. Obviously, the fans were brilliant tonight, acted like a 12th man out there. Just disappointing not to get the result. They had a couple of good chances. Overall, I'd say a pretty even game overall. But now, obviously, big game in Russia.
Obviously, Russia won earlier. In terms of the overall group now, how do you see it?
I think there's still a lot of twists and turns left to go. Slovakia, Russia still got to go to Slovakia, and that anyone can beat anyone in this group. We're capable of going to Moscow and getting the 3 points, and then obviously changes the scenario. It was a great chance to try and get 3 points, but it wasn't to be. It's another clean sheet, so you take a positive from there. But no, we'll make sure we're right and prepared for the game on Tuesday.
And from your own point of view, the yellow card there at the end, tell us about that.
Disappointing, obviously. Wasn't intentional. I think obviously the referee needs to realise that, he was obviously breaking away, but ball's going out of play. Not intentional. Stupid, really.
And you heard obviously the boos at the end. No player likes to hear that. No. What would you say to the Irish fans who are feeling very frustrated tonight?
No, just stick with us. Obviously the group's not dead yet. We're still within a fighting chance on the same points of Slovakia. They qualified for the World Cup last year, so they're obviously a very, very good team. And like I said, the support today was brilliant, and we'll keep fighting right until the end. So obviously thank them again for the support and to stick with us, and hopefully next time we'll get the 3 points.
Cheers, Sean.
Thank you. Cheers.
What kind of a loss is he going to be, John? For the
big
Russian
loss.
match?
He played very, very well tonight, Bill, and it was one of the good features of the Irish team tonight. Again, it's the way Trapattoni sets it up, in my opinion, is that when they defend, and the nitty-gritty of defending tonight, they were very good. When we were under severe pressure, there was always somebody getting ahead, particularly St. Ledger, getting ahead away, when they had the chances to break. And that's a good thing. In other words, they didn't concede a goal, Bill, which is always good. But there's a big price to pay for that. But at the same time, when it came to the nitty-gritty of getting a block in, getting a header on it, and all the defenders did that.
Okay, right. It's time for us now to take our final break. We're on the air until 10:25, so there's plenty more reaction and analysis coming up after this.